Here's our next task. The problem says, let theta be an acute angle such that tangent of theta equals 3. Find the values of, first, cotangent theta, and then secant theta using the identities. Well, there's several ways to do this problem. First, what I want you to recognize is that we have tangent of an angle equals a ratio. That's what you have to recognize first, that when we take tangent of an angle, we're looking for a ratio. So they gave us this ratio, and the ratio they gave us is 3:1. That's tangent, and that is opposite over adjacent, of course. Now, first find cotangent. I know that tangent and cotangent are reciprocals. I know that tangent of theta is equal to cotangent of theta. What a ridiculous statement. I know this is opposite over adjacent. This is adjacent over opposite. To make them equal, I have to put that in the denominator. So I'm looking for cotangent theta. Multiply both sides by cotangent, divide both sides by tangent. We'll get cotangent of theta is equal to 1 over tangent of theta. I should have just started there, actually, if that's what I was looking for. So cotangent of theta is equal to 1 over 3. Because anytime I see tangent theta, I'm told it's equal to 3. So there is our cotangent theta. Notice again, this is cotangent of an angle is equal to a ratio. Up to this point, we've been ratio hunters. Now I know that tangent of theta is 3/1 and cotangent of theta is 1/3. In our second task, they ask us to find secant of theta. Well, I'm going to go to my Pythagorean identity. I know tangent squared theta plus 1 is equal to secant squared theta, but I know tangent theta. Remember, tangent squared theta is the same as, that's the way we describe tangent theta, the whole thing squared. So if I know tangent theta is equal to 3, I can make my substitution. 3 squared plus 1 is equal to secant squared theta. So 3 squared is 9 plus 1 is 10 is equal to secant squared theta. So secant theta is equal to plus or minus the square root of 10, of which we're only going to consider the principal or positive root now. Later, we'll talk about which quadrant is this angle in. It didn't tell us, so let's just assume this acute angle is in quadrant 1. And we're talking about quadrant 1. Look what happens to our x and y. Our x is positive and our y is positive. So then our secant, which is 1 over x, and our tangent, which is y over x, those will both be positive as well. I was able to do that particular problem by using trig identities, which it asked me to do, this problem did. Of course, I can check myself, which is always wise, by actually drawing this out. Notice, this is acute angle, so I'll put it in quadrant 1. I'm not even going to draw the rest of the circle. And I'm told that tangent of theta is 3/1. And we recognize that's opposite over adjacent. So if this is 3 and this is 1, I can use my Pythagorean theorem. X squared plus y squared equals hypotenuse squared. So c squared is equal to 10, and c is the square root of 10. So I can come up with this. Now they asked us for cotangent in part A. Cotangent of this angle, I know is adjacent over opposite. From this angle's perspective, if I put my baby blue eyeballs looking through that, here is adjacent and there is opposite. So we get the answer easily there, or perhaps more easily. I don't know, it depends how you view this. And secant of theta, I know is hypotenuse over adjacent, which in this case will be root 10 over 1, which is the same as root 10. So I can find it using my pictures, or my identities. I've got much power in my brain.